Hey guys, so Lord here, back with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Page Punchers 7-inch Shazam. Or, if you want to show your age, Captain Marvel. I get it, y'all grew up in the 80s. Nobody cares. That said, this score is brought to us by the fine folks over at DC Direct and or McFarlane Toys, whichever you prefer. I don't know why they kept the DC Direct name. Seriously, like, McFarlane Toys absorbed that company but kept the name? Why not just call all of it McFarlane Toys? He loves putting his name on the box, doesn't he? I don't know, maybe that's the one bit of his ego he's not too involved with nowadays, which I guess is a good thing, question mark. That said, a while ago we looked at the Aquaman 7-inch Page Puncher and compared it to the Endless Winter version. We're going to do the same thing here, except this isn't Endless Winter, this is actually Rebirth, but moving him over, I do have the Walmart exclusive Rebirth Shazam here, which I always thought was a good figure. You know, if you wanted a classic-ish Shazam with some extra embellishments, this one was pretty solid. I liked this one a lot, but, you know, some people don't like the McFarlane texture, some people don't like the stylistic liberties McFarlane takes when making certain characters, and while I understand that, it makes them stand out against the Mattel DC Classics line, which was literally the same buck repainted over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, no matter how good the sculpt was on that buck, because truth be told, they're actually built like superheroes. They had the V shape, they had pretty decent proportions, albeit I think the Kilowog body was a little questionable with its long arms and short legs and just flat up too tall for those characters. But yeah, I like this older Shazam. I got him hanging on the wall fighting the Endless Winter Black Adam, who he shares a lot of parts with, which, not for nothing, after getting this Page Puncher Shazam, I feel a little bit more apt to backtrack and pick up that Page Puncher's Black Adam to go with him, but we'll see about all that. But before I get too far ahead of myself and thwack Billy Batson right in the balls, or the balls there, because Evil Villain likes my fake-ass Italian accent. Not Italian, I'm like more Scottish, Irish, English, Germanic, but that's besides the point. Nobody cares about Overlord's heritage. They care about this stupid figure that's going for $50 on the aftermarket. So before I get too far ahead of myself, again, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all Shazam has to offer in terms of accessories. Starting off with the comic book, which you're almost never going to get a perfect one of these. This corner's jacked up. Whatever. It's actually quite a bit of comic in here, so I'm curious how much you actually get. But I will say, if they're going to keep doing Page Punchers, maybe put them in the plastic sleeves. I don't think they need like the cardboard, but maybe just some plastic, some clear plastic, that way they're protected from getting cut when you're trying to open the clamshells of death. Which I can tell you my dad does not care for whatsoever, because yes, I have him do it because I'm legally blind, and if I try to cut these things open, I'll probably cut one of my fingers off, because that's how bullshit those things are. So, he does also come with a collectible trading card on the back. Billy Batson says Shazam, turns into Shazam. He gets his powers from, is it the Strength of Hercules, Speed of Mercury, Power of Zeus. I forget what the A's are for. And the S, the first S. There's one of them's for wisdom, I'm pretty sure, but it's been a hot minute since I've looked into the origins of Shazam, but I know at least 3 of them, because I know he's Greek gods and Black Adam is Egyptian gods, which is more my speed, because you cannot top Anubis or my boy Horus. It's just not happening. But as far as useful accessories go to the figure, he's got a pair of open hands, which I guess are a little big, but they're also a little loose, so I don't plan on using these. Then he does have this little necklace here. I believe it's the Eye of Agamotto. Before all you DC fanboys have a butthole relapse, I know that's not what it is. it's clearly the Eye of Sauron. So, there you go. Take a closer look at Shazam. He does have a hockey puck display stand racing with all McFarlane Toys releases. Or DC Direct releases in this case. This is that infamous Earth 2 Superman mold that was first introduced in that bullshit-ass Christ's Son Infinite Earths wave where the figures cost $40, yet, like Mythic Legions, you didn't get a hand pack with any of them. I can't say they're going to be doing that again this year after the backlash that received, so fuck you for that, because I wanted Spectre. I'm still waiting to see if Walmart gets him. Like they are Azrael Batman again, in better colors, might I add. But, yes, he is reused from that. The gauntlets are new. The boots, I'm guessing, are new because of the cuffs. The crotch is probably new because his belt's just like a sash. The lightning bolt is not sculpted. It's painted, but it does actually feel like there's some texture to it. But it is just painted on there. Then, of course, he's got the cape that he normally has, the little white cape. It has a wire in it. Works okay. Much like the Spawn, though, the collar's not connected to anything. But it is a little bit better than that Spawn because at least there is some connection here. The material is connected beneath the neck, so it does actually help hold things in place. Whereas the Spawn collar just kind of... So he doesn't have that problem, at least. But as far as articulation goes, I haven't messed with this guy too much. His head can look up, he can look down, he can tilt, rotate. Shoulders will go up this far, back down, rotate. Let's have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, that works, and looks good. It's not all chunk with trenches and whatnot, so that's cool. I think maybe they need to just round out, let me bend that again, round out this part here, and you should be good. Because the joint itself isn't terrible. There's no egregious cuts in it. It's just the outer part that needs to be rounded out now. He, of course, has the ball hinge wrists that will rotate, hinge, and swivel. Fists were easy to pop on, by the way. He comes packaged with those open hands. That's why I knew they were loose. Diaphragm joint moves this far back. Almost forward, not at all. Almost 5 years in, we still don't got diaphragm joints that work. That's hilarious. Yet everyone's sad about them losing the license. At least Mattel shit can move forward. He does have a beautiful butterfly in there. That actually works pretty well. You can swing his arm almost all the way forward, all the way back, all the way up, and all the way down. It could move every which way but one. And that's into the stratosphere. That said, hips, okay, out. Not the tightest things, but they're almost like butter smooth. So, I guess that's not that big a deal. What about this side? Yeah, not terrible. He can kick forward, kick down. He does have a thigh cut. And on this side, it was a little stuck on mine, but I got it to work. So there you go. Double jointed knee. That works okay. Again, not too egregious, just a little sharp on the edges. But he doesn't have like the Cliffs of Dover or anything like that going on, so that's a plus. And then he does have ball hinge ankles that will rotate. Wait a minute, does he have a boot swivel? No, but the boot is separate and does not feel like it's glued on. So maybe you could pop these off if you wanted to. I don't know. Those feel like separate pieces. Weird. But he's got ball hinge ankles that will rotate, hinge, pivot, and then toe joints, which are nothing to write home about. They're pretty sloppy, but they stay in position, so I guess it's whatever. And then, of course, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So, yeah, not bad at all. I like him quite a bit for a more classic version of Billy Batson, a.k.a. Shazam. He's good. I like it. I'm glad I found it. I'm glad Mr. Bryan found it. But got gotta be honest, I don't think it's worth all the hubbub that everyone is making about it. I really don't understand why this figure or that frickin' Supergirl is like, oh my god, because like we have Supergirls that are not like shit. So I don't. The whole thing with DC is the toys are like the movies. They're not that great. There has not been a DC like film universe that's like worth losing your panties over. Like I don't understand. Like, oh, James Gunn's taking over, it's gonna be bad. Like, it was great before. Like, really? And don't even come at me with the Nolanverse argument, because that Bane sucked. Like, give me a break. And Christian Bale, while I think he looked cool in the suit, he sounded like he needed freaking, I don't know, cough drops or cough syrup or something. Like, what? So, yes, DC figures, to me, they're like the movies. They're not that great. But, you know, if you have all the Mattel stuff from before, I think that's a good collection. You know, it's cohesive. They did the classic looks. They didn't do all this weird offshoot stuff, which I like McFarlane doing that because it's different. But, you know, I understand if you're just getting into DC figures, McFarlane's all you got, you want the classic stuff. That's a valid argument. But if you're like me and you got the Mattel stuff, you know, I already got the classic stuff. Like, what the hell do I need more of the same for? You know? I love the Dark Knight's metal. I like, you know, Infinite Frontier and Future State and Future's End and Endless Winter and was it Three Jokers? And, you know, they did some Hush stuff. They did some Nightfall stuff. They did some oh gosh, I'm trying to think. What was another? Blackest Night. I wish they did more with that. Dark Knight's Death Metal, Dark Knight's Speed Metal, Dark Knight's Joe Mama Metal. Like, they've done so many different storylines that Mattel would never ever do. And that's the type of stuff I like to praise from this company. Not, it's like DC Classics, but more articulated and kind of more loose. So, you know, it's just, I like having more articulation, don't get me wrong, but if it's loose or doesn't work, the hell's the point? I'd rather the figure look good than be able to suck its own dick, you know? So, with that being said, before I piss anyone else off, why don't we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Manipulith, who I think has like the perfect amount of articulation, especially if the cuts work right, like some of the newer Legions figures. And then we have the infamous Elephant Spawn, which, not for nothing, he's about the same height as old Shazam here. Kind of surprised by that, but it does make sense. But not for nothing, I'd love McFarlane Toys to go back to making Spawn stuff. More Spawn stuff. Like, I want a freaking Tremor before I'm dead and put in the ground and my body goes cold, you know? Like, that guy's the man. That vintage figure's like a fidget spinner to me. I can play with his Rocket Punch action feature for hours. That said, when Mr. Bryan picked me up this Shazam, he did see the two new Spawn figures, the Rat City and the, is it Manga Spawn? I don't know, it's like a big robot Spawn, but either way, Spawn, 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 I love me some Spawn. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and do I like this figure? Yeah, I would say so. Do I like it enough to where I think it's worth the $50 plus aftermarket price? Sick hell no! I think y'all are tripping with this whole McFarlane Toys losing the DC license thing. I don't know about you, but if Mattel takes over and the stuff doesn't sell out in 2 seconds, if the stuff is distributed somewhat decently across multiple retailers, if there aren't any stupid chase variants, if there aren't a million different price points, if they don't have all the quality control issues, and if I do have quality control issues, I can get them resolved with a replacement and or just a simple refund, then you know what? I don't think it's so bad. McFarlane Toys, on the other hand, non-existent customer service, quality control issues up the wazoo, poor distribution, stupid chase variants, multiple price points, and everyone's crying over them losing the license. Why? I don't get it, man. But at the end of the day, I like this Shazam figure, but don't kill yourself trying to get it, man. It's cool, but they've done better. Armored Azrael is a good example of that, even though mine's gonna jerk up foot. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.